Hello and welcome. Hello everybody. Welcome to Kong YouTube channel. Let me know if you can see me, you can hear me, and let me see how it goes. Like, you know, we've been doing this for a while. We didn't do this for a while, okay? And I just want to make sure that everything is working again. If you're watching us live, wherever you're watching us, we're streaming to YouTube, Kong YouTube channel. We're streaming to Kong LinkedIn channel. We stream this to Twitch now. Now we are cool kids, and everyone is streaming to Twitch. Let me know if you hear me. Like, I'm checking my indicators here. Let me bring a chat window here, so I would see like everyone is. My mouse doesn't work for some reasons today. Yes, make some noise in the comments. Make some noise in the comments wherever you're watching us. And I want to see where is it? Comments and reactions. Now I see all the things that happen here. So at least five people are right now, and let's see if comment section also working. All right, so Arun from LinkedIn, it looks like it's working. So it's great to be back. It's great to be back and to these live streams with Kong builders. That would be what, like a couple months that we didn't go live. So there are many things happened during that times, and world is in a far worse place where it was before we stopped doing the live streams. But that's not something that we can do. So here, for those of you who first time here, like first time seeing this, who is this guy? My name is Viktor Gamov, and I work as a developer advocate here with Kong. And in the live streams, the Kong Builders live streams, this is a place where I am and some of my colleagues are hacking around, playing around, goofing around with some of the technologies that's Kong related. Today we're going to be, as it was announced, I will be looking some very interesting use case that some of my colleagues brought up in the last couple of weeks, and I decided, okay, so that would be interesting thing to talk about this and break the things down. All right, before we jump in, a couple housekeeping items for you who join us for the first time. I will just do this quickly, and we'll switch to my screen. All right, so now I'm sharing my screen. I hope everyone able to see my screen. With this, do not forget to subscribe to YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel, this is the place where we're posting all of the materials, everything that we do here with Kong. We are, okay, let me do this one. Yep. We are posting all our events that happen here. So if you go to video section, you see a bunch of stuff here. My friends and colleagues from Insomnia team are doing tremendous job supporting community and talking about some of the open source developments that happened in Insomnia side of things. You see there's many recordings of the streams. They go in live and talking about Insomnia technologies. We also hosting a Kongcast, which is our podcast where we're bringing, where is it? Where we're bringing technology leaders and the visionaries to talk about their biggest connectivity and API challenges and bringing some of the perspective. We're gonna be resuming this next week, so make sure to subscribe to get notified when the new episode will come in. And always you can find all the videos that we will be doing also in Kong YouTube channels, all the things that we're doing here. Also, I mentioned that one of my colleagues will be joining for the next Kongcast. Our developer relations team here at Kong is growing, which makes me super happy. And you only you will not only see me on this channel, so it's not exclusive. And let's see, what do we have in the comments section? All right, so Raju, welcome. Raju is using Kong and Kuma currently in production level. That's great to hear. That's the great feedback. I hope you enjoying this technology so far, and this is the place where you can share your thoughts, and we can learn something from you as well. Now, so speaking about Kuma and some of the technologies around the service mesh, the couple of things to point out. So recently I did a webinar about how you start with service mesh. And again, as you already know, this thing will be published in Kong YouTube channel, where you will be able to watch it if you miss this in real time. So, okay. Kong is a new orange. Very excited to be associated with Kong. Great, great to have you here, Pandey. Welcome to Livestream. Welcome to Kong Builders. Kong Builders. Let's jump right in and talk about some stuff related to Kong technology. Some of the things that I wanted to show you today. So. If you've been following some of the work that I did here with Kong, probably you've seen some of the presentation or conference talks around what I called okay, where's my demo scene? So this repository where I'm placing all the code, all the demos for these Kong builders. You can always find Kong builders folder here. So all episodes, demos will go here. However, if you watch some of my videos in the past, I did a few episodes where I'm talking about what I called supercharge your ingress. I'm a huge Kubernetes fan, and I like to show things around the Kong gateway and Kong Ingress Controller there. And many of you have seen some of the work that I'm showing how you can enable plugins. If you don't, again, on the YouTube channel, there's videos there. One of the things that we introduced a couple months ago when I was talking about Kong Ingress Controller 2.0 and things that we introduced there was support of UDPIngress. So in order to configure things inside Kubernetes, we follow similar Kubernetes pattern. We define custom resources, and based on custom resources, Kong will react on certain ways. And I showed the demo. You can find this demo here. It's a UDP source quotes. It's a UDP service that you can talk through, and it will send you brick and mortar quotes. You can check this out. And but I didn't have a demo with TCPIngress, and so I think would be a good opportunity for me to talk a little bit about TCPIngress and show you some of the cool demos around TCPIngress. Many of you aware that. Many of you are aware that Ingress was designed to be, like Ingress object was designed to be used and to expose some of the HTTP and HTTPS workloads. However, if you want to expose some other services, that will not only provide you with HTTP and HTTPS, because there are some other protocols that work on top of the on top of different technology. This would be TCP, the standard ingress will not be able to do this. So for that matter, you need to use some of the extensions that come with the vendor-specific things. So I talk a little bit about UDPIngress and how it works. Let me show you, for example, how it works in case of Kong. So if you look my UDP demo, essentially it's very similar, but not exactly the same. So it has some annotations, has some backend that needs to be configured, and that's how you configure UDP service. So you need to deploy a UDP service. And also, by default, when you deploy Kong, you need to also enable a couple configurations. So today, what we're going to be doing. So I will take, I will start with, where's my Scratch file? And let's say ASCII-doc Scratch file. I like to use ASCII-doc here. So install, we're going to be installing Kong using Helm. And enable TCP listeners. So when you run this by default, when you run this with the, let me make a font a little bit bigger. Haven't done this for a while, right? And some of these things might be, we're going into font, we're going in here, and we will put this, say, 26. It's going to be a little bit bigger, right? So let me know in the comments if you're able to see, clearly. Let's do even 28. That would be a little bit better. Like, let me know if you're watching this write down in the comments, or you can comment this live, or you can write down in the comments in this video if you're watching this in a mobile device. And I'm actually spending some of the time to optimize it for the stream that would be available for people who watch this on the mobile devices. Let's make it even bigger. That would be just in case. So we install TCP-based service and expose via TCPIngress. So that's the plan for today. That's something that I want to cover. I can do even, can I do this? Does it support it? Not sure if it supports the note-taking stuff here. Okay, I got some confirmations that font looks good, and thank you, Brian. Thank you, Raju. Thank you so much watching this. Oh, I got some user feedback. I'm happy when the people provide the feedback for me. I'm happy that you're enjoying watching those videos and you're learning something from this. That's my pleasure. So yeah. Okay, so first thing, we have a documentation that says how you can get started with this TCP-Ingress. As always, all these things you can find in official Kong documentation. Here's the thing, though. It uses our installation script that you can do using the simple command like k4ks. So we have this shortcut that people can use in order to deploy Kong very quickly. And after that, if you want to modify it, it's a starter for many of you. If you want to start quickly and deploy Kong, this is how you're doing this. Essentially, it includes like deployment. It includes some of the same defaults that allows you to start with some minimum deployment, and it works. However, I like to have ability to be customizable, and as of today, as of May of 2022, we still have Helm charts as our kind of preferred way of doing these things. So we're going to be using Helm charts. So I will show you how we can modify values and upgrade your installation to enable certain things. So we're going to start with something like, we're going to be install Kong into, we're not going to be using any values for now. We're going to install this by default. So you will see gradually what is happening here. And on my top here, I do have a Kong. That's my Kong. And now my pod will be initializing. So successfully deployed. We'll see what kind of stuff we will be able to load there. I'm running this latest and greatest Kong 2.8 and Kong Ingress Controller 2.3. So right now it waits until the Kong will be up and running. and we will wait for a few more seconds. Another thing that we need to see here is the services. So essentially, when the Kong will be deployed, we will have some of the services here. In this case, we have a service with the port 80 and port 43. 443. It's for HTTP and HTTPS. So, and as always, a simple thing to try it out is to hit this HTTP service, and we get the response from Kong. We're getting this no routes matched to this value. That's meaning that the Kong is up and running. We can access this one. And as a matter of fact, since if there's opportunity to not only ask questions about this stream, but also participate in the stream, you can always try to hit this this URL, because it's during the stream, it's live. So you can also go and hit this URL. Now, so with the way how you can learn what things you can customize. Helm has a great, many of you probably already seen this, but things around dumping default values. So, values default. So Helm has a command to show values from particular chart, and from this chart it will dump into default values. And if I open this in editor, my editor will show me all things around what is available. And there's multiple things available, starting from deployment. You can disable, enable some of the components. You can go and watch. I don't have the I need to I need to figure out. Yeah, so probably somewhere here I will put the links. Not even like, yeah. See, I'm not very professional on this one. But in the previous episodes, if you go to some of the recordings of Kong builders, you can find 2 episodes where I showed you like full installation of Kong gateway, including enterprise features, and how you can customize it using Helm. So if I'm not going to spend much time of this customization here today, because you can go and watch the previous episodes. Now, but here, so what are the things that we want to see is enabling. If I look for TCP, TCP, do we have it? We wanted to see this stuff. So inside the proxy, we'll also want to enable a stream listener for TCP connection. So by default, as you can see here, when I show you my service, this service, can we see? No, it's a. Okay, I'll just do describe. Can I do describe? Yes. So that's the describe of the service. My service is up and running right now, and a couple ports that expose here. Port 80 that will be mapped into the proxy port, like a Kong proxy port, and the port 443 to be mounted to the port 443. So now we need to enable here, so the TCP listener. So what are we gonna do here is enable another listener that will be listening TCP IP port, and expose this through particular port that will be accessible from outside world. So I already copied this section here in my my values file. And essentially, it's going to be proxy, stream, and container port. Let's take a look what documentation says. So documentation says you can modify deployment. So let's take a look into deployment. around Kong Ingress. Let's take a look how it looks like. So let's see what we're modifying. So we're going into namespace called Kong, and we're gonna be looking some deployments there. So there's a deployment Kong because this is the name of the deployment that Helm will give me based on the namespace and name of deployment. So let's take a look. What do we have here in this deployment? There is a Kong configured in a certain way. So you see this through all these environment variables. We have all these listener configured. And one of the things that we need to modify, let's take a look in this. We're going to look into, where is it? We're going to look into spec, containers, and container with name proxy. So let's take a look on this spec. So it is Ingress Controller, that the sidecar container that will be turning Kubernetes objects into Kong configuration, but we're interested in proxy container. So for the proxy container, we're going to be modifying some of the things here. Specifically, containers proxy, we will add a environment variable, Kong stream listener, with ports that we will be defining. Those ports will be listening TCP and the TLS, encrypted and unencrypted. Next thing, we need to expose the ports for this deployment, and after that, we also need to change service. But we're going to talk about this in a bit. So as you can see here, there is no Kong stream. You see. Kong stream listener is off. So by default, a TCP listener is not enabled. So that's why we need to enable this one. Next, next thing is that we're going into service. And for Kong proxy service, let's take a look, describe. And things that we will be modifying here is we need to create a few more ports, because we created load balance service, and this service needs to expose certain ports. That's what we're gonna be configuring here. In this particular case, we just only have TCP and TCP, which is gonna be HTTPS. Now, let's fix that with this deployment, and after that, we will see how this will work. And again, if something is not clear at this point, let me know. I will point during this thing. So I'll just do Helm upgrades, and in this case, I already have installation up and running here, so I will be upgrading this installation with new values. With these values, this template will be able to configure TCP ports. Now, let's go. That's the weird message that I usually have when I'm running this with Helm. I was trying to research this online, and I couldn't find anything meaningful. It looks like either it's a bug in our Helm chart, even though it doesn't do anything. And if you are a person who can compile YAML in his head, let me know. Yes, good question. Let me see. Let me get back here. So that's a very good question. I don't have my iPad in order to show you a diagram, but let's see if I can do this with something that I have in hand. So essentially what we're trying to achieve right now is to enable TCP listener on the Kong side of things, and proxy traffic that comes. I don't think we need to have a diagram, but it's a good point, Arun. Next time I will bring an iPad to show you the diagram. There's not so much, there's nothing complex here. So now the service was updated, and if I will just do things like describe, and now, so for the service, I have a few more ports. One is a Kong proxy, as the same port as we used. Kong proxy, we have Kong proxy TLS, and now we have a stream. So we will be able to do TCP, TCP/IP stuff here. Also, you can see it in here. Now, what would be meaningful service to deploy using Kong Ingress and all this type of jazz? In the past, I like to write my own apps, and I'm a big fan of different movies, and I like to use this as my movie quote service. But this time I thought maybe there would be something useful for the people and available out of the box. So I went looking to something that's called iperf. So write down in the comments if you're using iperf for your work that you do in general. And this is a great tool. It actually contains two pieces. It's a built-in client and server that allows to measure performance, measure network latency, and the network throughput between 2 points. When I was doing some of the professional services work, that tool I used a lot, because every time when I go to the customer and trying to investigate some of the problems, and they swear, saying, "Oh no, our network is super reliable, and for you it should be like the first sign of that." Yeah, most likely it's a network. So the package is available for all possible operating systems, so you can run this between two points. You're trying to investigate connectivity between one server and another server. You just run this iperf in the 2 servers in the client server mode and measure performance. And this is how you learn that network might be is your holding you back. So we're going to be using this one. So I'm going to be deploying iperf server into my Kubernetes cluster, and I will be exposing access to this iperf server via TCPIngress. And on my side, like in my client, in my console, I will be using iperf. I will be using iperf. iperf 3. Yes, and I use iperf 3. We're going to be using this to access iperf server that runs inside my Kubernetes cluster. Now, why I'm doing this? In this case, you can measure how good is your gateway. So you can deploy your iperf server into your Kubernetes cluster, create a gateway in front of it, and measure how fast your customers will be able to access to your data. So at least nominal on TCP level. So let's do this one. So in order to do this, we need to find first of all, we need to find iperf Docker images. So iperf. We will probably just need to go here in Docker Hub and find some of the public images. What could go wrong, right? So what could go wrong? So in this case, there's the 3 million. Let me see. Yes. So there's some very popular. I never heard before the thing that's called Clear Linux, but I'll take it. I don't mind. I take it. And looks like it has the builds for. It doesn't have builds for my local for ARM. However, my server, my Kubernetes cluster is running the Intel or AMD x86. So this image will work. And again, what could go wrong? It's public image. Many people using this one. So we're going to be using this one, Clear Linux iperf. I can create so what we need to have a deployment, we need to have a service, and we need to have a TCP ingress in order to connect this. So I was Googling and I find some of the interesting, publicly available stuff that the people are doing, and I just took some of the stuff from here. So I found the manifests, and let's breaking this down and use it with my image. So I didn't want to use their image, whatever they were using. I used the image, whatever is available in a public Docker Hub and pretty many people use it. So, so a couple of things. So deployment. Nothing really special here. So this is just a deployment where we need to define certain the selectors just in order to our service to be routed to this particular cluster. And we need to run this iperf image with -s command. So what does it mean, -s? It is a server mode. So I can do -- server to be like very explicit about this, and also I need to check what kind of port they use. So let's take a look. They seems to be exposing port 5201. So we're going to be using this, and we will be exposing this as well. So we're going to container port 5201. We'll call it server. It's going to be TCP server. And next thing is that I'm exposing this one via service. So this service will be attached to my deployment and make this the cluster IP for this service will be routed to this one. So basically, before we start. So I just do, if I will do something like iperf 3 -- server, so it will start the server on the port 5201. So if I will run this iperf 3 -c, and I'll just do localhost. This is localhost. Server is connected. As you can see, localhost is quite fast and they communicate. That's what we're trying to achieve. Now, we want to run the server in my Kubernetes cluster and run my client on my computer. So that's what we're going to be achieving right now. And I can kill the server. So server always running and waiting for connections. Again, if you try to follow my steps along the way, you can also, if you have a iperf deployed in your operating system, you can take this and connect to my server and measure performance from where I am to my Kubernetes cluster. And last but not least, in order to expose this to outside world, so this will be available to everyone in the internet, I'm using this TCPIngress. So as you can see here, API version comes from konghq.com, and Ingress class used here as Kong. This is the port that we will be attaching to. And this is our service that will be routing. So whenever we will be hitting this, remember this guy. So we're doing this HTTP to this port, but we will be doing either like a netcat. Oh, actually we can do it right now. So what it says in C, what we will get anything. So right now we were able to connect, but nothing is happening. So the listener is up. So I connected to this guy through the port 9000. So I'm trying to do something, but listener is up, but no one is doing anything on the other side. So let's fix that. So if I will just do kube control apply -f, and I will just do iperf. So in my namespace default, I will see server deployment. So my server is up and running, waiting for logs, because the server started in the silent mode and probably doesn't print anything here. Let's see if we have any services. We have this service that our TCPIngress can connect, this iperf service. And let's see if we can describe it. It just connects to my 5201. And if I will go in TCP Ingress and I find there's one TCP Ingress that was created, let's describe it. Let's see what is going on here. And this is my TCP Ingress that I will be able to connect to. Let's take a look how it looks like from perspective of logs. Let me get back to my pods. And let's see some logs. If I will try to connect right now. So connection works, but I need to connect with particular client so the protocol will be established. So as you can see here, someone error unable to receive parameters from the client. So we were connected. So netcat is the utility that allows me to send some garbage into this network pipe. And because my server is smart enough and not crash out of it because it expects certain payload from the client, it just like throws some error saying, hey, looks like the client connecting is not what we expected. So this is why we're going to be using our iperf. Where is it? iperf. We're going to be using this one. That's the server. We're specifying port that we want to connect. And when I click here, now I see this is 100 megabits per second communication. I believe this is the maximum stuff that my Wi-Fi will be able to do. 100 megabits and plus I'm streaming right now, so I'm doing streams, streaming my YouTube stuff, and I'm also trying to connect to my server. So and now, as you can see, this is the response. That was I believe this is the IP address from let's investigate. So this is IP at 10.116.527. I believe this is the IP address that comes from the Kong, because Kong behaves as a proxy here. So we'll just go here and just do service. And let's see, it's a cluster IP. Let's see, let's describe, not the service. We're gonna go and see the port and for a particular pod, and let's see, describe here. Can we see? Ooh, interesting. Something is getting us wondering if it's something to do with my stuff or it's absolutely unrelated. It doesn't matter. Like, let's. What I'm trying to see is describe what kind of addresses here. Yeah. So inside the cluster, my client was impersonated as Kong. So Kong proxy works just fine here. So service, and I will just go to namespace default, and I will just do service. No, we'll go in here and just take a look on the logs. Yep, that's our port. So 100 megabytes was transferred. Let's see if we can do something else. iperf. Well, let me think about this. We potentially, what we can do here, we also, since iperf also can do, let's see if we can do this. iperf 3. So can we start this in UDP mode? So yes, we can start this in UDP mode. So I will create another deployment for UDP. I will start the server in UDP mode. Can I do this? Server or client, server specific, server. How I can start the server in UDP mode? I think it's gonna be, it doesn't matter. But what kind of port? Okay. Well, yeah, let's try locally before we're gonna do something crazy here. iperf 3 minus server. We're gonna start server. can I specify a port? So in this case, we're going to be using different ports. We start server with the. Okay, let me see. Maybe we don't need to do this. So if I'll do iperf 3 minus C, we're going to be doing minus U. We're going to do localhost. Local host. Local. Enable the connect server code name, no name server product. Why? Okay. We can do local host minus U. Okay. So looks like the server will able to multiplex or like work within UDP on the same server. Let's see if this actually works, or we need to expose it through UDPIngress. I believe we need to use UDPIngress, but bear with me and see if we can do that. iperf 3 iperf 3 Okay. Unable to read the stream from socket, connection refused. Now that's getting interesting. So let's think about this. I think I can create the UDPIngress also here. So let me grab it. Some of the things that I did for UDPIngress. We need to also enable UDP listener. That would be different from where's my values. So let's grab the UDP proxy. We're gonna put this into my values. So in this case, it's gonna be here. So we're gonna be using UDP proxy. We tell the Kong to enable UDP. We're gonna be using port 999 for this UDP. And where's my Kubernetes? I will also grab UDPIngress here. I will steal it here. And iperf, just do. Let's see, we were gonna call UDP, let's do this iperf server. I will call it iperf server. UDP, namespace doesn't matter. We're gonna be using default namespace, YOLO. Backend service, we're gonna be using iperf connected to the port. So the service is smart enough to multiplex the connection. So if it's a UDP connection to the same port, it will be able to switch it. And it will be bound to port 999. So now what are we going to do here? Helm upgrades. We're going to be upgrading this deployment. Let's see, namespace, Kong. We're going to do service. Now let's see, not the edit, I'm sorry, describe. You see, now we also have two proxies. So one proxy will be listening port 8080, port 9000 for TCP, and we will get also external IP for UDP server. So we will wait for a few seconds. Now we have this stuff. So if I will run, I need to update. I need to create UDP. I need to create this UDP ingress. So when I will do this, iperf, so it should be able to everything unchanged and UDP ingress created. So now if I will do iperf port, it's going to be port 1234. Different IP address though. Different IP address. It's going to be using like separate load balancer per UDP listener. 35277.116. 195. Okay, so no, of course 277. Let's see if it will be able to do this. Namespace default deployment. Okay. Well, bad descriptor. Size of record doesn't correspond. Test for. Is it still doing something or not? Let's see. I'm wondering if I need to do anything for to enable UDP on my Kubernetes cluster that I don't remember. I didn't do this in the past, so maybe I don't need to. That's very cool. Okay, let's see. Let's see what is going on there. Let me check the space Kong service one more time. So 35, 27, 116, and let's see. So it actually goes in. Let me see if I messed up. If I messed up my server configuration. Port correct. The server iperf server. That's the same namespace. That's a TCP. Same port. The port can do this. Why? Let's take a look. Let's see if we have any issues with this. Someone is hammering my server from outside world using Go client. Let's see if it's a Go HTTP client. Someone is trying to hit my server. Let's take a look if I have some errors on the Ingress controller. Okay. An expected error occurred. API Kong API version. Why is that? Checking config status failed. Let's see if we were able to create. Okay, so we're doing this UDP. So a resource not yet configured for data plane. So maybe the UDP stuff is not fully enabled. I don't know, like why it is not. So it looks like the traffic, the listener is up, but the traffic is not actually going through. The traffic is not going through this thing. So let me check one more time for my previous demo. Do I need to enable anything? It's cluster IPs, nothing. Oh, okay. Now I need to also enable the service, that the service also expose this through UDP. Okay. So let's see. That's a good point. So in my iperf service, I need to also. I'm wondering if this will work. We'll see. Protocol UDP and the target port server UDP. Let's call it like UDP. I'm wondering if this will work. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, why it says configured and unchanged. So now let's see if I will be able to push it through here. And so we go to namespace. We go into default namespace. Let's see. So no, it still will not be able to hit the server. That's weird. Let's see if I'm wondering. So selector opcodes. Yes, I port protocol UDP port port protocol. I'm wondering if it's again YAML thing. Kubernetes deployment. Kubernetes okay, in deployment. Let me see if I'm specifying this in deployment as well. Yeah. Okay, so I need to specify this in deployment as well. And protocol UDP. Okay, now this should work, hopefully. Okay, here we go. Something is changed. Let's see. Because we need to restart this. I changed the service. Let's see if I will be able to connect. No. iperf server up and running. I'm wondering if no, still not getting there. Let's see if I will be able to change the port for UDP. iperf 3 port for UDP server. I don't know if I need to create a separate deployment for this. Minus use, and no, that should be in UDP mode. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. But like it's gonna be using the same and UDP, it means that both TCP use open. So yeah, exactly. So 2 ports will be using anyways. But what I can try to do is, let's see how much time we still have. Yeah, we still have some time. So probably, let me think. Okay, so maybe I messed up with these with YAML things. So multiple ports. Let's see how they defining this multiple port in deployment. Ports, blah blah blah. Ports, container port dash dash. Yeah. So I think I'm doing this right. So I don't think that's the problem. Let's do step by step before we give up for today. So default port is 222. We call it container port. We'll call it protocol. Okay. I think that's the problem. It uses the same port for both, so I probably just need to have separate deployment for UDP server. Okay, let's do this one. So I will let me start over. I will quickly start over. Delph and we'll just do iperf. Okay, so in this case I will have a we'll call it UDP. If you're watching this in a recording and you know a better way how to do this, if the one service correspond to two different protocols in one port, how to make it work in Kubernetes. So that will be cool to know. So let me remove all this UDP jazz from here. I will create the separate. So UDPIngress is over here. We'll remove the TCP stuff here. I will remove a TCP port. So I will call my deployment name server UDP server deployment, and I will call it UDP. I'm wondering if there's a better way to do this. But again, that's the Kong builders. We're hacking around and see what works or what not. So let's fix this. A bunch of copy pasting of YAML. Server, we will do container port. We remove this guy. We'll have a UDP port here. Method data name, UDP server, app selector. We're going to be doing TCP port UDP, UDPIngress, name UDP, and we will call it. So let's make sure that our TCP thing still works. So I'll just do server port name required values, and where is it in the service? In the service, iperf. Yeah, okay. So I will protocol TCP, and I will remove this one port, target port name called TCP. Okay, and iperf. Yeah, so the TCP thing got back here. And we will have two things, default. So server deployment is up and running. Let me see if I'll just do iperf UDP. Okay, so we have UDP server deployment, and the moment of truth didn't work either. So meaning that still not doing anything here. Let's see if I messed up in the configuration. UDP, we go in here, UDP, IDP. Let's make sure there's service, and UDP service. Describe. Events none. So target ports, yeah, service is correct. That's fine. But TCP goes to this one. Yeah, that should work. And let's see if we get something interesting from the Kong logs. Kong Ingress Controller. I'm wondering if I messed up with the configuration. Kong beta 1. TCPIngress, UDPIngress. Maybe it's a UDP server, port 999. Checking the status, API error. That's interesting. This is something that I need to check with the internal team. So not every day we will be able to accomplish everything. So, but TCPIngress works. TCPIngress works, and I need to. Most likely after the stream, I will check this and I will see there's error. So, do not forget to subscribe. If you're enjoying some other people failing miserably on using the modern technology, cloud native technology, definitely subscribe to the channel. We have plenty of this stuff here. We're getting back. We're getting back in the regular cadence. So subscribe and wait for the next episode. Next week we're going to be releasing Kong Cast episode, and the week after we're going to have some of my new colleague, Kat Morgan. She will be talking about some also interesting stuff. But with this, my name is Viktor Gamov. Thank you for being part of Kong Builders. And with this, have a nice day. I'll see you next time. All right, take care.